It's Thursday night. There's shitty football on. So you're here with us, the Big Blue Beards. I'm Sergeant Mayhem, joined as usual by Monty and by Smooth.
What's going on, guys?
And
what up? What up?
Surprises for you today. Things are gonna get rolling. Smooth, how was your Christmas?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. It was great, man. Nothing better than your son waking up and seeing cool stuff that he asked for or always wanted. So we just had a great time. We made way too much food and lamented a Giants loss on what could have been with the Vikings. But that's all right. What about you, Monty?
Yeah, man, it was good. You know, I do a lot of different Christmases, a lot of different family members, stuff like that. So I was traveling all around. You know, it would have been nice to enjoy that Christmas coming off a win. Didn't play out that way. Christmas Eve, I spent with my Vikings fan uncle and cousin. So that wasn't a great way to go after that. They were nice and all, but yeah, that was not who I wanted to see after losing to the Vikings. But yeah, it was overall it was good. What about you, Sarge?
Rough. Christmas was good, man. It was real low key. We opened presents Christmas Eve, so Christmas Day we just kind of hung out. I got a new mic and a new webcam, so I'm in high definition. Nobody needs to see me in high definition. And I got this fun I got an invisibility cloak.
That's awesome.
Green screen.
It's fun stuff. It was a very podcast Christmas.
It's fantastic. I love it.
All right, so Smooth, you brought a guest.
I did.
Is he here yet? He's not here yet, though.
He's not here yet. It's a surprise guest, and I'm going to say
it's a surprise guest
for everybody that's in the chat or watching us. Our special guest will be arriving at 8:15-ish. If he's a little earlier, we'll drop him in. That was the kind of arranged time. But it's definitely football related. We got a lot of cool stuff going on tonight. Very important. Very important.
Shout out to the chat, first of all. Shout out to Cody, who was apparently decided it was a good idea to drop a comment 15 hours before the stream actually started. We got Crypto in the chat. Doug Analytics is here. If you guys are not following Doug Analytics, then you don't know football. Because great follow, Doug Analytics. And the man himself, Pest. Shout out to Pest in the chat. Pest, I sent you a link, didn't I? If you want to jump in here. Because we're giving away Pest Giants tickets this week. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Our man Pest is putting his tickets up for grabs, and he's letting us give them away. You know, it was really nice of Pest and Rob to shout us out on their show last night. It's called Committed. You should be committed. We'll get you one of those really nice jackets that close in the back.
It's like it'd be like your green screen back there. No, dude. I have to say thanks to Pest because I wish I was close enough because I would have snatched those tickets up before we could even have a conversation with anybody here tonight. So I'd be going, but I will be cheering them on nonetheless, and I'm happy for the show to be the vessel to give those away. We'll do that here towards the end because that's what a good show does, man. You got to stick around till the end of the show to find out who won. Can't give it to you at the beginning so you guys can go watch Joshua Dobbs and the Tennessee Titans beat up on the Cowboys. I mean, I don't know. That's not appealing to me.
I saw you drop that today. I'm like, I don't even know who that is. That's crazy.
He actually was a starting quarterback at Tennessee at UT, and no eyebrows, good career, 4th round pick. We'll see what he can do.
All right, man. Yeah. So we're gonna give away Pest tickets later on in the show. I just sent him the StreamYard link. So Pest, get your sexy ass in the chat or in the stream. You know, you should be here when we crown the winner. And I think it might be a good idea to have the winner come back next week and report about the game.
Yeah, talk about the experience. Talk about if you've ever sat that close, because Pest has those. He doesn't have those Bobby Kraft tickets where you sit up in the suite, but with Mara and the boys. But I looked at the view of it. It's fucking fantastic. Like where you're going to be sitting,
right there.
It's the tunnel where the team
tunnel
comes
where
out.
the Giants come out of.
Can't beat that, boys and girls.
Cannot beat that. Cannot beat that. So yeah, we'll go through some of the comments later, later in the show. So we're just kind of BS here, I guess. It's our guest show.
Let's before we even get into the guest, because that'll kind of take us on the turn. We've done this every week since we started doing this podcast, where if the game wasn't what we expected, we were like, let's just move on. Let's just not talk about it. So let's not talk about the Vikings game. And let's talk about this Colts game. How does everyone feel? I think I saw it in the chat. Everyone is picking us to win. Doesn't that make you feel gross and like really nervous? Because for me, as being a pessimist, a realist, I look at this team and I'm like, this is a team that could totally lose this game. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't. There's no way they should. But instead of being like, tell me how many reasons they're going to win, or being homers, like what are ways that we lose this game? Like how do we fuck this up so we're not going to the playoffs?
Let's see. I'm not worried. I'm not. And here's the thing is, normally we as Giants fans get super worried when we're favored to win, because that never works out in our favor. But this is one of those games that you have to, not only do you have to win, we should win, and we're going to win. Now, we have a Colts fan who's just joined the stream. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, to Colts fan, Pest the Analyst. Pest.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing? Listen, I'm not going to turn my camera on because I'm being pestilence right now. All right, so when I'm being pestilence, y'all don't get to see that. Yeah, I am a Colts fan. I do have to admit that I am definitely a Colts fan, and I love them. But I'm sacrificing their ass to the Giants football gods this weekend because this goddamn New York Giants football team needs to win this damn game. You're winning, you're in. Let's go.
Murder on the field.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, these games, man. Every time that the Giants and the Colts had to play back in the day, those were games were bittersweet. But I got to watch both Mannings play. Like that was always so damn awesome to watch those two play football on TV. So, hey, because I love Peyton Manning, I'm a Colts fan. It just is what it is.
So, for those of you who didn't tune into Pest's show last night, and if you didn't, why didn't you? You have to reassess some life choices. I understand if Rob's intro is 15 and a half minutes long. That's fine. Just come in like the 15:30 mark and
no. You have to watch the whole intro, because here's the thing. Okay. First and foremost, right? If you've ever been on Twitch, T-Pain's intro was like 35 minutes long on Twitch. Okay. I don't know if anybody knows that. All right. But that's just what it is. Now, our intro is probably going to be about 10 minutes long, but it's never the same intro. It's always different, and it's never scripted.
Oh, I know.
So enjoy that.
I've studied them all. I've studied them all.
They are.
And you know
will
why.
not find two that are the same. Hey, listen, you will not find two that are the same.
Well, Pest. We were on Pest show last night. We were talking about. He was teasing the giveaway, and my joke was he's giving away that co-host spot. But anyway, we
wait a minute. Well, no, because remember at the end of the stream, I fired him and I hired you. Now here's the thing that you have to understand. Okay, I had already fired. I had already fired Rob in the past, and I gave the co-hosting job to Buffalo K. So Buffalo K is first in line for this job, and then you're second in line for this job, man. I'll rotate y'all out. Don't worry about it. I can understand.
Do I have to send like an audition reel or?
No, you got the job. I hired you already.
Oh, okay. Is there benefits?
Yeah, but you have to turn the cameras off for those benefits. You know what I mean? We'll talk about that off. We'll talk about that off stream. You know what I'm saying?
No. So I got to tell you right now, I'm not like Robert Kraft or Deshaun Watson type stuff. I mean, we're both happily married, so or at least I am. I'm not quite sure.
Hey, Mayhem, I regret to inform you that you're fired. You guys have a good night. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Take my goddamn thing. No, okay. Seriously. Listen, y'all. I'm so glad that you guys formed this collective. I've been watching you guys on the low, and I love the work. So you guys keep doing what the hell you're doing. So here's the deal, because listen, this isn't about me. This is about you guys, and this is your show. So I'm gonna get the hell out the way. And no, I'm not gonna be here when you guys name the winner. I'm gonna just watch. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch, and then you guys can definitely vet whoever this person is, right? Because I love this idea about bringing them on next week for them to report in. I think that would be amazing. So yeah, let's just make sure we vet them and make sure that they actually go. Because I want to pop in and I want to hear about their experience. Because listen, not everybody gets to sit in these kind of seats, man. And I want the world to be able to know what this feels like. It's fucking great. You know what I mean? I want to share it with all of y'all. So let's go. I'm going to get the hell out of here, though.
And it cannot be stressed enough that, Pest could conceivably use one of those ticket resale sites and just sell these tickets.
Oh, yeah, I could.
But he's
listen, no, listen, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I have sold some of my tickets, okay? I've sold some tickets. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I ain't trying to, get a little bit of this money that I spent on these tickets back, but I still want to share, you know what I mean? And then what a game to go to, yo. What a game to go and see live. What an opportunity to go and potentially see the New York Football Giants clinch a spot in the playoffs. And you can say, hey, I was there. Like, yo, it's gonna be pretty dope. Yeah,
no,
and listen, this
is
my first year. This is my first year being a season ticket holder, and so like my wife and I have gone to these games, and every game, and our mind is blown. With just like the ability to be in that building and feel that building's energy. When the Giants are good, when the Giants are giving people things to cheer for, the energy in this building is ridiculous, and y'all got to get y'all asses in here and feel this energy. It's ridiculous. I'm telling you, man. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out your way. Hope your host shows up here soon. Man. I mean, you hope your guest shows up here soon. But hey, that's show business, right? That's how it goes.
That's how it goes, man. Pest, thank you for coming on, brother. We will.
All right, now y'all take care.
Thanks, Pest.
Go Giants! Let's kick some damn ass. Murder on the field.
Murder on the field.
Well, shit. I'm like, listen. I talk a lot, and I was just like, keep going, man. That was awesome. I love when Pest takes control of. I don't go in spaces anymore, but like controls of a space or a show, and just kind of like. His intake and how quickly he kind of like turns from one topic to another it's a talent, man, and he's one of the best at it. So I appreciate him, and I'm so excited for this game coming up, man. Like I actually had a buddy who was just like, "Hey, man, the Panthers and the Giants are playing on Sunday. Let's go watch the game together." And I was like, mm-mm, mm-mm. The guy text me. I was like, I'm not leaving my house. I can't function unless I'm around other Giants fans, like at the stadium, as Pest was talking about. There's absolutely no way. If I'm watching this game and I'm not going to be around a million Giants fans, I'm going to be by myself, yelling at my television, or quietly, more zen-like, just praying that we, win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game. This is a must-win as it comes, and when it's in, there's no game that comes easy in this league. You got to earn it all. That's just how it goes. And the Giants, I believe, are motivated and want this game. I'm excited to see what they put out in this field because I think it's there for the taking if they want it.
Sarge, you said you said before Pest came on that you were like you're not worried at all. You're comfortable.
No, I'm not worried because I did watch the Colts last game.
Yeah.
And the game before that, and they turned the ball. Oh, smooth. No. We'll put a pin in that. We'll put a pin in that because, ladies and gentlemen, our guest this evening is the former head coach of the Carolina Panthers and the new head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers and former potential head coach for the New York Giants. Ladies, gentlemen, and whatever the hell crypto is, Rule.
Welcome to the show.
It's now Rule.
Just want to say thank you guys, for the opportunity to be here. I know New York was very, very close to having me as their head coach. I just want to say thank you. It's nice to be up here with Big Blue.
No, hey man, Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time, Coach. We're each going to ask you one question, and then we'll just chop it up from there. So you obviously have Giants roots, and one of the questions I had was, do you feel like you dodged a bullet not taking this job, or do you look at the job now that we're one win away from making the playoffs as kind of like you should have got on the plane and you should have gotten here and at least interviewed?
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I always look at where I've come from, where I could have gone, and where I am now, and I look back at the time I interviewed with the Giants, and I sit there and look and I say, they ended up getting their number 2 option, and then after that, the guy they brought in after him is doing a winning job. So that's the thing that I realized that anytime I leave somewhere in the NFL, usually it takes a couple of years, and someone else comes in and does a really, really good job. So I like to sit there and think that. The Giants winning now a result because of me not being there.
Makes total sense.
So does that make you like the good luck Chuck of like the NFL coaching world? Kind of like if you've ever seen that movie.
I always like to think, Chuck's a great guy. But at the end of the day, I always think you got to make your luck. It's the NFL. It's a results-based business. And I like to think, what's being done in Carolina, what's being done in New York now as a result of, my name is written over in some way, shape, or form. If you go look at San Francisco and the Giants, because of what I did in Carolina, Christian McCaffrey got traded out there. So I am also helping the 49ers win football games.
Matt, big fan.
Makes total sense.
Monty, by the way. So I had a question for you. And, I was wondering, as a New York native, it was rumored or was all that being put out there, you were going to come here. And everybody was waiting for it. And it was a big day. You were going to show up. Every Giants fan had the date circled. And you fucking stood us up. So what the fuck was up with that, man?
I always look, sit there and say, David Tepper's got a really, really big pocketbook, and he came with that big 7-figure contract, and at the end of the day, I also like to get paid.
Yeah, you gotta line those pockets.
All right, Dennis, I gotta break it up. Everybody listening, everybody that will watch this later, this is Dennis Cox. He is a media personality here in the Charlotte area. Am I correct on that?
Raleigh,
Raleigh,
North
pardon me. And if people don't know where Raleigh is, well, that's NC State, Carolina Hurricanes. Definitely big sports town down here. This is not Matt Rule, in case you didn't realize it. Although I contacted Dennis because we have a mutual friend in Chris Lee, his partner on a podcast, and we'll let you push anything you want. But I wanted to get him on because there was a Giants connection, but also because we're trying to be more comedy and put a little levity into like when we're just doing a podcast here. And he was the perfect guest. Dennis, welcome. Appreciate you, man. The impression is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
How did it start? Like, I mean, obviously you cover them. So like, did it just start because of that, or did you just do it, or how did that work out?
I did it actually on air. I think Chris and I actually on our show Culture State. I did it just as kind of like an impression of him. And someone actually came up to me after our show and was like, "Hey, you kind of actually really sounded like Matt Rule." I was like, "Yeah, I thought I actually did a pretty decent Matt Rule." So I did it a couple more times, just kind of like making fun of like what he would say at a press conference. And then on Chris and I's show, I decided to take the video and post it on social media, and it blew up and took off. And the timing really is actually what made it, is because when Dan Orlovsky on ESPN did his breakdown of why the Panthers offense was struggling, things like that, and then Matt Rule was asked about it in his press conference and actually gave a rebuttal to what Orlovsky said. I was like, well, this is an opportunity for me. So I actually did like a film breakdown of Orlovsky's breakdown as Matt Rule, and it all just kind of took off from there. And the best part is people would just start sending me like, oh, you got to do this. Like, oh, he always says, at the end of the day, or elites or whatever it is. Just
love it.
All like people just started sending me this stuff. I was like, all right, let's just keep it moving. So just trying to find the right opportunity to do stuff. And then obviously when he got fired, everything just kind of took off a little bit more and more from there. So it just kind of organically came about. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go do a Matt Rule impression. I just did it one time on air, and then it just took off.
Yeah, because it's not, people say oddly specific. It's just, you cover him to a certain extent in the area. And it's just, I saw it, and obviously we have a lot of mutual friends. So I was just like, holy shit, dude, that is so spot on. I loved it because the way Matt Rule talks, and then Monty and Sarge, if you want to jump in at all here, his coach speak is elite, to use one of his terms. Like he is one of the most elite coach speak people of all time.
Yeah, he can spin anything, or tries to in any way, shape, or form. Like one time, remember he's, like talking about like, oh, we had this really successful drive. If we do that consistently on every drive, we can be one of the best in the league. It's like, yeah, okay, well, duh, of course. Like, yeah, if you go 12 plays, 85 yards, and score a touchdown on every drive, of course you're going to be one of the best in the league. Who wouldn't be? But you obviously don't do it often enough. So yeah, this like coach speak, spin it, and all that kind of stuff. That's why it's like, all right, how can I galaxy brain this as Matt Rule? And I was like, well, if Christian McCaffrey's having success with the 49ers, they're winning. Well, it's because of Matt Rule, right? Because I was so bad, they're winning there. So really it's because of me. I'm taking credit for those wins. Because even afterwards, before he got hired in Nebraska, and he was on with, on NFL Network and CBS and all that, he was asked about this time in Carolina. He's like, well, yeah, Wilkes, all those guys are doing a great job, but I built that culture there. Like I brought in those guys. It's like, yeah, but you didn't win with them, but he's like backdoor, like taking credit.
He could technically be taking credit for, taking what's going on in LA right now too.
Yeah, exactly. I got to find a way to make that work too. It's like I'm helping the Rams win. I'm helping the 49ers win. The Panthers are winning now. So yeah, it's all fun. Speaking of, I mentioned the Dan Orlovsky thing, just kind of how like this quickly took off. So I did that on like a Thursday, and it was right before, because in our area in Raleigh, Chapel Hill, where UNC is, in Durham, and where Duke is located, are literally within 30 minutes of where I am. So I was going to cover UNC versus Notre Dame, and ESPN was doing the call. Dan Orlovsky was on color commentary, and I'm up in the press box area before the game. And this is when I did the Dan Orlovsky, Matt Rule breakdown thing. Orlovsky just unannounced comes right up to me. He stands right next to me. He goes, "Are you guy that did that Matt Rule thing?" I was like,
Love it.
that was me. He goes, shit was hilarious.
That's awesome.
He's like, I've watched it multiple times laughing. So yeah, or even Orlovsky came up to me. He's like, dude, that was hysterical. I was like, wow, like, okay, it got to you already. I just did it 2 days ago. But yeah, it's it just all just magically
Social
took off
media
in a very, very
man.
fun
It's the
way.
power of social.
Yeah, and here's the thing, because now I still do the Matt Rule stuff occasionally. So I was co-hosting on one of our radio shows where I work at here in Raleigh a couple days ago, and there's this quote that Matt Rule put out by Nebraska put it out. It was a quote by Matt Rule about guys going, to making their college selections based off NIL deals and all that kind of stuff. So I read the quote as Matt Rule and I posted it online. And then I got Nebraska fans giving me like hate because of this. It's like, I'm like, wait a second. Like, you all just wait. You just wait. I mean, he might do great at Nebraska. He's obviously fit for college, but still, like, I got Nebraska fans being like, just saying all kinds of like dumb stuff to me. And I was like, okay, first of all, y'all clearly don't get the bit. All right. And second of all, go touch grass, please.
Yeah.
Just go touch grass. It's like,
So
whatever.
Well,
so Dennis, I got to tell you this.
One, it is Nebraska, and two, there is no grass.
So go touch corn. Go touch corn.
Yeah.
No, Dennis, I was going to ask you if you decide to push this further, because I really do think if we have anybody in this vast community that is Twitter that is a Nebraska person and sends you Nebraska gear, and or you just buy it yourself and you make a fake lectern, like, you should literally every week do a press conference as Matt Rule in Nebraska. So no matter if they're winning or losing, if they're winning, it you know this, it would write itself. If they're losing, obviously you can turn to the negative side of things. But and also the whole technical thing of taking credit. If he has people leave, like in the transfer portal, and they do well someplace else, dude, I'm telling you, man.
Oh yeah.
You have a home here. I don't give a shit if we're doing Giant stuff or anything, but if you want to come on and do a press conference at Nebraska and just literally just talk as him, you got it. We're in.
I'm 100% all in. Yeah, I got to update because this is the attire that I got to be Matt Rule, because he always wears like this smock thing. So I got this tank top, and obviously he wore this Panthers hat. I'm like, so that's the reason why I'm like, I got to go dust this stuff off and put it back on. But I actually did when I got hired at Nebraska, I did do an introductory press conference. I don't know if you saw it, but I just stacked up corn around me. So there's cans of corn, frozen corn, like ears of corn just stacked up. And and Chris Lee, my co-host, was asking me the questions. He couldn't see him on camera, but I was just answering all the questions he gave me as Matt Rule. I just had all this corn stacked up me. It's like, he asked me like, what are you looking for, in the program? What do you try, bring in? As here in Nebraska, at the end of the day, they're known for growing great corn. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to grow great corn. Here's the thing about corn. Corn, you can have sweet corn. You can have some white corn, some yellow corn. You can have the multicolored corn. You can have candy corn. You can have popcorn. At the end of the day, I really look at sit there saying, our guys, I really want them to pop. I want them to pop in practice. I want to pop on pop on campus, pop out on film. Pop pads really well. So at the end of the day, I'm looking for really good popcorn.
Oh my god,
that's the Matt Rule presser. That's his introductory presser.
It should write itself.
Yeah.
He really is. It's great. It's like reminds me of a modern day. Really does remind me of a modern day Gruden, but like little slicker. But that same kind of vibe of like, are you gonna come play with me, man? Like that whole like the NIL stuff cracked me up. I did see you do that.
Yeah.
And that to me is incredible. That he's just like, yeah, we want people to come here to want to be in Nebraska. It's like, motherfucker, no one wants to come to Nebraska. Like it's a different world. It's a different world.
And here's the thing, your Nebraska money is going to pay NIL. Trust me.
Yeah, no kidding. So think about it from this perspective. We have basically winner takes all for your Panthers and for our Giants. Little different perspective in terms of not only the under 500 record, but the fact that you guys are going up against the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. And we're going to face someone who beat him in a Super Bowl in Nick Foles. in the Colts. Little different. I think both these teams kind of suck. I won't lie to you. Like the Bucks have been shit this year. The Colts have been even worse with, Friday Night Lights head coach, taking over.
Yeah.
And I just do you see any parallels to this, or is it different because it's a division title for you guys? What do you think?
That's the thing with the Giants. They could afford a loss because they have that recent win over Washington. So they can afford a loss because the wild card chase is not really deep when it comes to the NFC. AFC is a completely different story, especially with the way the Dolphins are struggling. But for Carolina with the Panthers, it's win or go home. But here's the one thing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not do well. They do not run the football well. They're dead last in the league in yards per average. They have 4 rushing touchdowns on this season. In 15 games, they have 4 rushing touchdowns. And total rushing yards, they're all dead last in the league in those 3 categories. They only average 3.4 yards a carry. What do the Carolina Panthers under Steve Wilkes actually have as an identity? Tough defense, run the football. They actually have an identity. Tampa Bay's identity is, let's just hope we get it close in the fourth quarter and Tom Brady can lead us into a late game drive. That's really what there is. It's literally praying cross fingers. That's their identity as a team. Whereas the Panthers actually do have one. Panthers beat the Bucks at home earlier this season. The offensive line for Tampa Bay has been a mess all season. Carolina knows who they want to be. And what do we always see in December and January football? Teams that win when they do what? Run the football and play really good defense. Doesn't matter who your skill guys and stuff are. That's saying it doesn't matter. But we always see teams having success late in seasons when they can do those 2 things. And what are the Panthers? What have they been doing since Steve Wilkes has since taken over? Run the football and play really great defense. I think in the last 9 games, the Panthers have rushed for 169 yards or more in 7 of 9 games. That includes 3 games over 200 yards, and one of those games was over 300 yards. So they know exactly who they are. The Colts stink. Jeff Saturday stinks. Nick Foles had a hot moment a few years ago for the Eagles. Otherwise, he's also terrible. There's a reason why he was a 3rd-string quarterback. There's a reason why Sam Ehlinger was starting over him and Matt Ryan. He's not that good. So I don't think the Giants are going to have trouble with the Colts this weekend. Giants, I think, are going to get in. And I think, honestly, that tie against Washington is probably going to be the reason why they get in. Mm-hmm. The tie actually helps them in that regard. I think the Giants do get in. And honestly, Panthers can beat the Bucks and they can beat the Saints. And I think the Panthers find their way in. If you look at when they beat Seattle, came back at home and had a loss to Pittsburgh, a Pittsburgh team that is desperate to get into the playoffs themselves. They're actually only a game back of Miami at this point, even though their quarterback situation is a mess. But I think the way Wilkes is going to sit there and say, okay, we've had a big win, we need to respond back with a win again. And the team knows what's on the line for them. I think Carolina does pull it off. I really do think they do. Because Bucks this year, not awful. Yeah. They're just bad. Again, it's just hope and pray. They won a game against the Saints a couple weeks ago because the Saints literally were like, here, take it. No, literally just take this. Bucks try to no, it's fine. Saints were like, here, let's blow this 15-point lead or whatever it was. It's terrible.
I have to ask you a very specific question, and I want you to put on your Matt Rule hat one more time.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So this is mostly for one of our audience members who does an incredible skit himself, and we'll have to get you to look at that another time.
Sure.
Answer this question for me. If you took over this team, Mr. Coach Rule, what do you think you could have done with Daniel Jones?
I look at Daniel Jones, and I see a lot of elite athleticism, and that's something I always want to sit there and say. You got to let these guys cook. You got Saquon Barkley. You got to give him the ball. Got to give him the rock. You got to let these guys be their guys. Because at the end of the day, with Daniel Jones, all that arm talent, it's really elite. I honestly, with me there. I probably would have brought back in Ben McAdoo because we all know the success that, McAdoo had in New York and, the success that, we're having in Carolina right now under Ben McAdoo with that offense and all the rushing yards to do like Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, all those guys definitely would have had elite seasons if I were there.
Thank you. That's awesome. That was for Hefe in the chat. We'll have to, we'll get up on that another time. Well, cool, man. No, listen, I appreciate you, man. Talk to the audience about where they can find some of the stuff that you guys have. I know you and Chris have a really great podcast. If you want to talk about that and where we can find it, any other projects that we can see, please.
Sure. So our show is called Culture State. We celebrate anything involving the state of North Carolina, whether that's sports, pop culture, music, entertainment, the whole thing. You can find us on our YouTube page. It's on 99.9 The Fan is the YouTube page. We have a playlist for Culture State, so you can like and subscribe there. We put out a weekly episode every week out there, and then we also just put other original content out as well. Our live Saturday show should be returning during March Madness during that time, so we'll be live on 99.9 The Fan. You can also listen to it on WRLSportsFan.com, WRL Sports Fan app. It's all free, so you can stream us there as well. We're live from 10 to noon on Saturdays, and you can follow me at The Fan Rookie, and yeah, that's where I put a lot of different stuff, and you can see all the angry responses that Nebraska fans are now giving me. It's just insane. Like it's so funny. But yeah, honestly, if someone wants to chip in the money, I will go. Yeah, exactly. If someone wants to chip in, I would love to go to Nebraska and go to a game as fake Matt Rule.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
let's make that happen. Like
I would love to make it happen.
I will use any
not
and
only
all
not
of
only
my
are we going to
resources
figure
for
out how
that.
to take you into a press conference so
Oh,
you can ask
gosh.
Matt Rule questions as Matt Rule.
That would
Somebody
be
kidnap real Matt Rule and then send you into the press conference.
so.
That could be the ultimate vision quest, is to get an interview with Matt Rule as Matt Rule.
I would love to do that.
In
Honestly,
character the whole time.
it is a dream of mine to do that. So you mentioned when I first came on, Carolina Hurricanes are located right here in Raleigh. And I was actually at the Hurricanes press conference the other night, and someone was going to go do a mic check. I was like, I should go up there as Matt Rule and just start talking.
You should.
And just start talking. Because a lot of people would have got a kick out of it. For
Just
sure.
hijack it.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I would love to go to Lincoln and go to a game as Matt Rule. I actually was covering the ACC championship in Charlotte, which was at Bank of America Stadium where the Panthers play between Duke and Carolina at the beginning of the month. And I was walking out on the field like well before the game started. And I went there. I was like, oh yes, back home, the house that Rule built. A champion is going to be. At the end of the day today, a champion's going to be
That's
crowned,
the clip. That's the clip that Smooth shared with us.
Yeah.
Yes, it
That's
is.
the clip that
It
Smooth
is.
shared, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wait,
So,
no,
yeah.
that's
The
not.
house
You're
that
telling me
Rule
that's
built.
not Matt Rule?
Yeah. It was fun. I was like, champion's going to win here today, and at the end of the day, I'm a champion. So yeah, I've come up with like a little funny lines. Like one of the ones I said, at the end of the day, every game I've ever coached in, a team has won a football game. So every football game I've coached, there's been winning. It's like, you can't get, not wrong.
God.
Someone's
so
won.
good, man.
The thing is, the more I hear you do that, is, it sounds a little bit like Jim Rome. There's a little Jim Rome in there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, it opens up a little more into Matt Rule because you find how certain ones kind of feed into each other. But it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Dennis, got a question for you. What was the YouTube again?
So 99.9 The Fan. So just look up 999 The Fan on YouTube, or you can search Culture State. You can subscribe there. Chris and I, we have a full playlist of all Culture State stuff. We actually just dropped an episode today. We talked some Panthers and in there as well. We talked some of the different big stories that happen here in the state of North Carolina, sports wise. If you guys are college basketball fans, we definitely talked to the Coach K getting retired by UNC on a couple occasions. Not only his final home game, but his final game ever in a Final Four. Which was just,
we had Dennis, we had Ian O'Connor on a couple episodes ago because he did that Coach K book, and so I was thinking of all of my North Carolina buddies down here when he came on. So yeah, definitely. I personally am a college basketball fan. I'm sure plenty of Giants universe is as well. So definitely I think I already saw people say they followed you on Twitter, so you definitely got a little bit out of this. And if you want to stick around, it's up to you, man. I didn't ask how long you had. We're going to jump into some other stuff. I know you can hold your own when it comes to a show, so it's entirely up to you. We're giving away Giants tickets tonight on the air to the winner take all game. So if you stick around, you'll see that. And we're also, I think, Monty, is this correct? We're going to unveil the 2 T-shirts that we're going to put out they'll be available right after the show if people want them.
I got nothing else tonight. I mean, it's either that or watch terrible Thursday Night Football again. So I'll definitely stick around.
This has been our promo the entire time.
This is why we should have the show on Thursday night.
It's like, what are you going to do? Watch shitty football or watch idiots talk
what
football?
What are you going to do?
If you didn't make your fantasy football championships, come tune in.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the Thursday Night Football this whole season has just been terrible. Absolutely awful. It's like
it's been the worst product.
Yeah. It really has been awful.
I think it was a lot of like the NFL kind of saying, okay, we're going to try this. We're going to give you these games. And you know what? And honestly, I didn't think they knew that some of these games were going to be as bad as they were.
It's true.
But you think about it, it's kind of like it's a very like low risk. Like, like you're going to pay us this much money as the like Amazon, you're going to pay us this much money, and then we're going to give you these games, and we're going to see how it goes. And they put together a fairly decent like pregame panel, and I just had a beer explode. They put together a fairly good pregame panel with Whitworth and Fitzpatrick and Richard Sherman and Tony Gonzalez and everything, but and I like they got Al Michaels, Kirk Herbst calls a good game together.
Yeah.
It's a good product. Like as far as the visual,
and like they were trying, but you can hear like the pain in Al Michaels' voice sometimes in some of these games. Like,
how many times do you need to watch the Broncos this season? Put in prime times, like seriously.
It's
what about the Colts too? Like the Colts.
He's like, I called games with John Madden.
Such an unnecessary amount of time with the Colts.
Yes.
And as the only true card carrying member of the media, Dennis, I have to ask you this question. Do you think that they don't flex out the Colts in some of these games because Jeff Saturday, people in particular, maybe not the media, but people that are that are football purists want him to fail. So they want to see it on national television to embarrass him in front of the most eyes possible. So this shit never happens again.
Well, I know you can't flex the third, like the day of the games. I know you can flex the times, but it's a really good question. Honestly, I never thought about that. Honestly, I just don't care to watch them because it's like you're a terrible product. I get at the beginning of the season, you're thinking like, okay, this roster is a really good roster, or has been for the last few years. Jonathan Taylor is a stud at running back. All right, they're going to bring in Matt Ryan. Like, he's probably that piece that they've been looking for ever since Andrew Luck retired. So, okay, I get it because you're anticipating. But at some point, get out of here. Like, can we start flexing games at, like, week 8, please? Can we start doing it then? Not, like, week 13 or week 14, week 15. Can we got to start doing this week 8. Like, get the halfway point of the season. Like, no, you stink. You're getting the lowly regional coverage at 1 p.m., wherever it is you are. And let's start – and honestly, there's so many good teams. There's no reason why a team should be in primetime 5 or 6 times during a season.
Yeah, like let's not even pick the primetime games until like week 8. Like let's set the first half of the season. Second half comes around, like what teams are good, what teams are not. You get primetime, you get primetime, you get primetime. You will never fucking play for the rest of the season on primetime.
Yeah, like you can beginning of the season set your September and October primetime dates. Okay, that's totally fine. But then do November and then wait and then do December. Like there's got to be a ways to do it, but it's just it's sad to see that there are some really, really good teams out there that unfortunately we're just not watching enough of. And they were stuck watching a Titans team that starting a quarterback that they just signed off a practice squad a week ago. Like that's what we're seeing tonight. And a team that is supposed to be competing for a playoff spot too. And it's like, oh, and then there's the Cowboys. Okay, I get it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys always draw eyeballs, whether you either A, you like them, or B, you hate watch them because you want to see them lose. honestly, I think more people watch the Cowboys to hate watch them. He's like, I just hate these guys.
Yeah.
I want to watch them lose.
Shh, my wife is in the other room.
Oh, she hate watching the Cowboys right now?
No, she's
No, she's love watching the
with her-
Cowboys. She's a Cowboys fan.
Oh, okay. That's
I'm
bold
sorry.
choice. Bold choice.
Hey,
This is
listen.
what I'm surrounded by.
keeps the marriage spicy. Won't lie to you. Keeps it right.
No comment. No comment.
But
Yeah.
I mean, to the point of your wife living in North Carolina and being a Cowboys fan, my dad's a Cowboys fan. He lives kind of there's Cowboys fans everywhere. So
Yeah.
getting those guys in prime time, a lot of these fans will not get a chance to watch their team if they're not in prime because for some reason they're everywhere. We all know why. It's because they were good at once upon a time. But
Oh yeah. Well, we get the title of
They were
America's
good
team.
in 1985.
We all,
here's the thing.
know what VCRs are. It's okay. We can get a VCR and watch highlights of the Cowboys.
We all remember, but honestly, a lot of these decisions are driven by ratings, and the Cowboys always pull ratings. So guess what? People always complain that they're on. Well, people keep watching it. It's funny because we've had on our station, we've had conversations about Matt Rule and Steve Wilkes and how the team has changed since Matt Rule's been fired. And we'll post the clips out there on YouTube, and they get our most viewership out there. And people are like, "Why are you still talking about Matt Rule?" I was like, "Because you all are watching it. That's why."
yeah,
Like,
stop watching it if you don't want to see it.
Yeah, and people always ask us, for us, we talk a lot of NC State because it's obviously one of the local schools down here. And some people are like, "Well, you guys talk NC State a lot." I'm like, well, yeah, NC State gets our most traffic on our website, and they get our most viewership and stuff online. Well, of course we're going to talk about what the people are going to go look for. Yeah, a lot of people don't always understand those decisions, but there's a reason why we talk about the things we talk about and we see the things that we see is because the eyeballs, the viewership, the engagement. That's what matters to these networks.
Oh, for sure. And I have to do this because of the topic that you brought up about viewership and like what people talk about. I want to bring up Daniel Jones, and it'll be a good segue into our T-shirt unveil.
Okay.
Since you are obviously cover the area that you and I live in, and a lot of our viewers, although they're all over the country, like Sarge is in Colorado, Monty's up in Connecticut, so Giants fans everywhere. What is the perspective of a Daniel Jones from your perspective, not being like literally on Giants Twitter or watching press conferences or reading articles of what the New York Post and the Daily News are saying on a daily basis? Like, what is the outside perspective from someone that's, in it, not quote unquote in the weeds like all of us are on a daily basis? So curious what your thoughts are.
So I think everyone around here was really surprised, even though we saw him play at Duke. We're like, wait a second, like, okay, we could see him mid-late first round, but the fact that he went as high as he did, everyone was kind of surprised. But I know a lot of people were wondering, is this really going to be a good fit for him to be thrust into New York with the Giants? And then obviously the head coaching situation up there was just abysmal. And now that he actually have a good head coach and they're not asking him to do too much, he's actually doing a pretty good job. So I think the perception outside looking in was, okay, this guy has limitations, physically super gifted, but he has limitations in terms of what he can do as a quarterback. And the right coach is what's going to find the right coach was going to allow him to be the best version of Daniel Jones. You can't ask him to sit there in the pocket and throw like Tom Brady can or like Patrick Mahomes can. And they asked him to do that a lot. It's like, well, no, actually, he's a really good runner. And if you just put him in spots where he can't make mistakes, he's going to do just fine. And he's doing that this season. So the outside looking in, I know when he got drafted here was like, hey, good luck, man, because I don't think it's the best situation for him. And I think he's a good middle of the line quarterback, which is fine. You can be successful at that. Is he going to take you over the top? No, but you could do a heck of a lot worse. It's funny because I thought he and Sam Darnold were basically like in the same situation, just different teams up there in the Meadowlands. Talented, just bad situation. But now you're seeing Sam Darnold being asked like, hey, just don't make mistakes and just manage the game. And he's doing fine with that. Sometimes we ask quarterbacks to do too much. Like we expect quarterbacks to be saviors. And like, actually, no. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Brady throughout his career, those guys are the exception. There's a reason why those are called unicorns or whatever term you want to use it. Sometimes you just got to let guys just be managers and ask them to not make mistakes, and you can do just fine. And when Daniel Jones is asked to do that, like he's done much of this season, Giants have been okay.
Dennis, I got a follow-up question to that for you. So, with the way that everybody sees Daniel Jones throughout the NFL, and down there, you guys, like as the Panthers, you guys could really use a quarterback. If you guys did well, got to playoffs or just missed it and weren't positioned to get a quarterback, and we let Jones walk and he was out there in free agency, and the Panthers went out and gave him, let's say, 3 years, $75 million. I think that's what they have on Spot Track right now for his projected contract. What do you think your reaction would be? What do you think the fans' reaction would be in Carolina? Is he somebody that you would all have interest in, or you think fans would as a whole?
I think the fans have learned that third time probably is not going to be a charm in terms of first round reclamation projects, because the Panthers tried to do that with Sam Darnold, didn't work. Oh, let's go do Baker Mayfield.
That's fair.
No, didn't work. If you look at in recent history in terms of, I call them first round reclamation projects. You look at Sam Darnold, I even throw in Sam Bradford into that situation, Baker Mayfield. Guys who were first round picks at other places that may have gotten moved, traded somewhere after their rookie contract's up. Someone tries to make a big, Mitchell Trubisky being another example of that. The only one that's actually had somewhat decent success is Ryan Tannehill. He's the only one. It
they
just
kept
doesn't.
him initially.
What? Yeah.
And they signed him and then got rid of him.
Yeah. So Ryan Tannehill is the only guy you can sit there and say really over the last 20 years that was, again, I call him first round reclamation project. Tom, obviously Russell Wilson wasn't a first round pick, but you look at, again, like Josh Rosen, no, didn't work out. Trying to go somewhere else. Christian Ponder, whatever, trying to go somewhere else. EJ Manuel, guys going somewhere other places. It doesn't work. So if Panthers tried to do that again, Panthers fans would be like, what are we doing? Like, do we not learn from the last 2 years? And people are going to look at David Tepper and go, bro, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? I actually like to equate, I've made this comparison with Chris before. I actually like to equate quarterbacks and teams chasing after quarterbacks like relationships. So for example, you see what other teams have in a great situation. It's like you see a couple that has a great relationship together. You're like, I really want that. Like, they got stability, they communicate well, all those things. I want that. All right, let me go and let's go make the thing happen. Like try and force this. Like, oh, look at us. Like, we got Sam Darnold. We did the thing. Hey, look at us. We have our shiny thing. Like, we did the thing. Guys, look at us. Like, oh, I have my significant other. We're in this marriage now. And then it falls apart because you try to force something to happen as opposed to actually allowing the right situation to play out. And I think that's something that we see oftentimes with quarterbacks, teams, and franchises try and force the thing to happen for the sake of saying, look, we did the thing. Look at us. We have the thing. We have our quarterback. We have our guy, whatever it is. And more times than not, it doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. Like RG, for example, you look at Robert Griffin III. Now, he was damaged goods, from his time in Washington, but he tries to go to Cleveland. That didn't work out. Then he ends up being a backup in Baltimore, not even in the league anymore. These, again, first round reclamation projects, Ryan Tannehill is the only one that's had success. And a lot of that's because of Derrick Henry. Let's call it what it is.
No, so I think you're spot on in terms of the, especially recently. I'm sure there's past players that have gone on to second credit. Kurt Warner, he wasn't a first round pick. You're talking about first round reclamation picks.
Brett Favre, a couple of them, but
I think Favre was a second round pick, actually.
Oh, you're right. He was. Yeah, Breeze was a second round pick.
Breeze was a second round pick.
So maybe there's something to that where I think part of that might be, what was Baker's one, Darnold was the second overall pick. You're feathered with all these high expectations, and then you don't really know how to do what they're asking you to do, which is hey, just don't be the superstar that you've always tried to be. Mm-hmm. I don't want to make anyone angry and say be Daniel Jones, just be kind of that average quarterback and not turn the ball over. You know, I think that might be something. There's something to that. But Monty, do you want to roll out these T-shirts and then we'll start talking about who the winner of the tickets is?
Sure. Yeah, it was a good conversation. We got a couple of things we want to jump into, so let's show you guys. So, first one, Smooth and we've been talking over the last couple of days, and we wanted to put out some shirts for a while. So, one idea we've been throwing around was we wanted to put out a shirt for the pro Daniel Jones people, and then one for more of the anti Daniel Jones people. So we put out a shirt for each. So this is the first one. This is our franchise quarterback Daniel Jones shirt. No line, no Galladay, no Shepard, no Wandale, no problem.
Yeah.
And we got our
on the
our
back. You got dimes
on the back. So yeah, I mean that one just to show all his wide receivers hurt. Offensive line, he has Andrew Thomas, but he's had a lot of problems over his career and even this year. And he hasn't been given a good opportunity. Everyone could kind of agree on that. No matter how you feel about him, he's been given one of the worst situations in the league, and people have seen some promise out of him. But then there's the other side of this, where we are about to have a free agent quarterback in Daniel Jones, and he has not put out a statistical season that you want to see. He has really, up to this year, hasn't shown you anything to be a franchise quarterback. And you could even argue this year. But so for that, we have this. No excuses. Bridge quarterback. Let him walk. Draft a quarterback. And on the back
is the best.
Limited.
Very nice.
That's the best. I'm sorry. Whether you love him or hate him, to me, that was when Monty showed me that mock-up. I was like, dude, that is... Give me both. I like both. We'll keep one on each side of the couch. When they play great, I'll put on my dime shirt, and when they play like shit, I'll put on my limited one. It'll be like a personality thing. Like you're feeling a certain type of way.
We need to send those to El Jefe for
yes.
jerseys.
Yes, that would be fantastic. Which one do you like better, Dennis?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. Is there a third shirt? Is there indifferent Daniel Jones?
No, that's pretty much everyone on this show. So that's why we're trying to split the difference.
You're not allowed to be indifferent, Daniel Jones. That's what we've
honestly
learned on Twitter.
Hey, I'm indifferent.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent. Where's my shirt?
You're different. You're different. Like different.
Yeah.
I'm currently being marginalized. To see
I'll take the first one. I'll take the one that says dimes on the back, because again, no Shepard, no O-line, all that. I mean, it's true. He hasn't had any of that stuff. And I think the whole Tony situation at wide receiver as well. Like,
yeah, no Tony too.
Yeah,
that was another one we kind of threw it up. And really, we had Galladay. He just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just not good.
He's just not good. Yeah.
Genuinely much worse than Isaiah Hodgins, who we picked up off of the Bills practice squad.
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing, you brought up Tony, like that's not on the t-shirt, but my favorite stat of the entire season is Kadarius Toney has more Spotify songs than receptions on the Giants.
Yes.
Yes. In his career. And it's by a wide margin. It's not like
20,
12 to 10. It's like 47 or 62 Spotify songs and like 27 catches, if that. It's ridiculous.
Okay. There's, could be worse. It could be Russell Wilson that has as many touchdown passes as he does bathrooms in his mansion.
Or the special office he has in his at the Broncos facility.
So, guys, I went ahead and I put the link in the chat here. So, if anybody is interested in a shirt, it's right there. Go ahead. Just up on Netsy store that I've done over the years just for fun. So, those are the only two ones up there right now. So, if you're interested, take a look. If you guys have any suggestions or for changes to it or other shirts you want to, I'd be happy to mess around and see what else I can come up with. So, just let us know. Hope you guys like it.
Love it. Dude, that's awesome. All right, Sarge, where are we at with the Giants tickets giveaway? I sent you who I thought was my favorite. So I'm going to while you do that, I'm going to talk to Dennis about this. So we had another YouTube host that has a show. He's on Twitch a lot. He goes by Pest the Analyst. Great follow. He was on earlier. He has season tickets. That's like right in where the Giants huddle. It's like section 109, two seats, 9 and 10 with a parking pass. And he came on with us last episode and was just like, I'm going to give away tickets. And then we just all started talking through the week. And he was just like, do you want to announce it on your show? And we were like, sure. So he posted it and was just like, respond to this. Give the beards and by the way, very nice beard, by the way.
Thank you.
So fit right in. But he was just like, yeah, have them respond to a question and then you guys pick your favorite. So this isn't objective at all. This isn't like a random drawing. We're just being, we have all the power in the world to give away these wonderful tickets. So we are going to exert that power.
Yeah, your power. You do what you want to do with it.
Sarge, you got someone for us to make their New Year's Day?
So what I did is this. So I went through, I've been watching the post all day. And I'm gonna be real straight with you. There's a couple of the accounts who commented who only comment when they're trying to win shit. And I looked at tweets and replies. Like I'm looking for people who are like in the shit with us, day in and day out. So I took all those names and I put them in a little hopper and I did a, we're going to use a little random number generator here. And we came out with, let me get her name here so I get it right. Pull up the post again because I was doing other stuff. I believe it was Jenna Weiser.
Congratulations,
so Jenna, who also, by the way, you grow a beard. Don't grow a beard. Just don't. I mean, leave that. So Jenna, we're gonna shoot you a message from the Big Blue Beards Twitter account. We're gonna put you in touch with Pest because he needs some information from you, and we're also gonna talk about having you on the show next to back on the game. So, be ready,
Jenna.
take notes. I don't think she's
Jenna,
in the chat right now, but we're gonna talk to her.
I don't care. We're gonna clip. We're gonna clip this. I want her to hear my voice. What we want for the following week for you to come on the show after you experience it, tell us all about it. Maybe take a video just real quick before the game starts or as you're tailgating, whatever it is. Even if you don't want to clip it or edit it, send it to us. We'll edit it. We'll put it together as kind of like a little Big Blue Beards on assignment, even though you don't have a beard. I don't care. Whoever you bring, if they have a beard, that'd be kind of cool, but not required. And have fun. Love it, and just want to see what the experience was like, especially for some of us who have never been at that stadium. They've been to the older stadium. So,
and apparently it was just Jenna's birthday not too long ago.
Happy birthday.
26th.
Hey.
So happy belated birthday. You're going to see the Giants.
Yep, little birthday Christmas present. Thank you, Pests, for giving us the opportunity to send a fan to this game, and we're excited to hear about how it goes. So. Congratulations, Jenna.
Absolutely. Before we go, so we usually go an hour 5, and we're kind of coming up on that. I just have to say, and we'll go around the horn, thank you to Dennis for coming on. Really appreciate and love. I am such a fan of impressions in comedy in general. So I know that you're not a quote unquote professional comedian, but dude, you need to flesh this out as long as possible. As long as Matt Rule has a job, you will have a side job, which is fantastic. If I will literally send you ideas on a weekly basis. Ask any of these people that do content creation. They're
Mhm.
like, dude, we get it. We have our own writers. It's fine. I don't care. I'm sending you shit. If you tell me to stop, I'll stop. But I'm definitely going to send you ideas.
Send them my way.
I am super excited about a winner take all for the Giants for the first time in, I don't know, almost a decade, 7 years. It's literally. I've had my son is 6 years old. Every year that he's been able to comprehend or look at me as a human being on this earth, he has seen angry, annoyed, frustrated, apathetic Giants fan dad. And now he finally sees me going excited. So there's like a new interest even in him in the sport. So I know why he hasn't gotten into it is because we sucked. And it's like he's seen me miserable. And it's like, why would I want to look like this asshole? Like I want to have fun and play with my toys and not be miserable like this prick. So that's what I'm super excited about. This is an opportunity for us to be a winning team. And I'm super pumped about it. Monty, what do you think?
My Chrome just crashed, but I'm back.
How dare you?
But man, I'm excited for it. I mean, there's a couple scenarios we can get in that this week, even without winning, but I don't even want to think about that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. This game is here for the taking. I mean, they have a pretty decent defense. That's something that we have to keep in mind. They did have a good first half against the Vikings, not so good second half. So, I don't want to overlook the Colts, but it's just an exciting time. Legitimately on paper, I think it is the easiest game in our schedule. They have nothing to play for. Jeff Saturday will not be back next year. Nick Foles will not be back next year. These guys can benefit from losing. I don't think they're going to be tanking or anything like that, but there's just nothing there for motivation-wise. Well, it's everything for us. This is everything for our culture, everything for these players who haven't made it to the playoffs, everything for a first-year head coach. This is going to be a fantastic day on Sunday. We can pull it out, go above 500, and baby, we're going to the playoffs together. Let's go to the playoffs.
Yeah, baby. What you got for me, Sarge? I think Sarge is frozen. Nope.
No, I'm here. It's the weather and my internet. So, I think I read a stat that said Jeff Saturday's Colts have been outscored in the fourth quarter 90-9. I like that stat because we're a forward team. We're going to pull you into the deep end and see if you can swim. And I'm going to win. We're going to win. We're going to we're going to clinch the playoffs on our own, under our own power, for the first time since 2016. Depending on how far we go in the playoffs this year, I might get a Giants tattoo. We'll see how that goes. This is not an if the Giants win challenge. This is just I'm due for a Giants tattoo. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm due. I've been a fan of this team for 40 plus years, so I'm surprised I don't have one yet. But yeah, man, I saw a lot of people, in score prediction talk about they want the Giants to score 30 points. I don't care. I just want to win, and my prediction is going to be I want to see a repeat of 1990. Giants 24, Colts 7.
I like it. Before we let Dennis go, and we close out the show, we have to see if you feel like this is reminiscent of your days at Penn State, Mr. Rule.
I sit there looking at, I see back in that time a lot of winning, and at the end of the day, that's really something I've been doing in the NFL a lot. Because you look, at the Panthers, the reason their success is because of me, and that's the reason why they're probably going to go to the playoffs. And they beat the Lions last week, which are helping your Giants. So really, I'm also helping the Giants make the playoffs. And then also because of Christian McCaffrey being in San Francisco, they're going to make the playoffs as well. So really, I'm going to be responsible for 3 NFC teams making the playoffs this season. And no coach in NFL history can truly say that. So everything I did at Penn State, I carried over to the NFL.
Thank you for not getting on the plane, Mr. Rule.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being Nebraska's head coach.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate
You are more than welcome to come on in full. I just want to see all red, head to toe. Get you a little. Hey, real quick, is Matt Rule a visor guy? Because I had a. Did he not wear? I don't think you wore anything, right? He kind of reminds me of a visor guy.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see it.
That's why it's stuck. Like I wonder if later in life, if he starts losing a little patch of hair like I do back here, if he'll be a visor guy. Just because he doesn't have that comb over anymore. I'm curious.
Yeah, that
might be the move.
I buzz mine down super short.
We're gonna see if we can find one of those like. We gotta see if we can find one of those like Halloween like visors with the hair in it.
Yes.
So that you have like the Matt Rule coif.
Oh yes, dude. We got to do full makeup. I got you. We're doing this.
Yeah.
This is happening.
I just need the red one of these.
Red smock.
Very good. It's all you
the
need.
red smock. This is just like a running tank shirt that I got for $10 at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Love it. I love it. Well, listen, thanks for coming on. I'm sure we lost a bunch of our viewership now that tickets have been given away. So we are not the smartest guys in the world, but we do know how to do that. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate
pleasure's mine, guys. Thank you
on and sharing us the Matt Rule impression. Come back soon, and
yes,
guys,
thank you, Dennis. We appreciate you so much.
Let's call it a night, and hopefully Big Blue can get us to that playoffs. I think we're going to be okay.
Let's get it.
Everybody good? All right. Peace.
See you guys.